welcome. It's time for another episode of Talking Shop, where we get you informed about upcoming projects from publishing companies and creators that we love, so you don't miss them, and you can tell your local comic shop, or you can hit them up on their Kickstarters or whatever, so you don't miss these projects and get to see the very best and awesome things that are coming out near you. If you don't have a local comic shop and you want to be able to find one, like you're traveling or you just moved to a new area, it's super easy. You can use comicshoplocator.com and use the zip code for where you are, and all your choices will pop up. So just always call them and make sure that the hours that they have posted there are the ones you're using right now, because in the age of pandemic, sometimes those don't match up completely. So, all right, and welcome to the show, Andrea Military.
Hello.
It's Molinari.
Molinari, it's all right.
When you order at an Italian restaurant and you say the wrong word, that's what I just did.
Yeah, you order that at an Italian restaurant, you may get French cuisine.
Maybe.
Never know. You never know. Could be Alaskan fare for all you know.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it. Give it a pass.
Oh, Lordy. Okay, so I've known you for a few years now, and there's been a lot of changes since the very beginning when you were self-publishing. This amazing series called Shepherd. Ta-da!
Issue 1.
Yeah.
It all begins.
And I got spoiled, honestly, because I started the series with the trade paperbacks that were completed, so I got to cheat and read ahead. So I know what a treat it's going to be for everybody for a long time. So what has been kind of like your experience with this title specifically, the differences between the very beginning, early days? How did you first show the book to people?
Well, it's been a lot of trial and error, mostly error, a lot of error. I think that's pretty normal, though, frankly, from talking with other creators that when they first get started. A lot of it is it's very difficult to find a good fit from an art. If you're a writer trying to find an artist, you know, because unless you have those contacts or have access to someone who does have those contacts, you're really kind of going blind, and that can be a minefield because there's lots of people who want your money to do art, but you need somebody who is affordable, that you can actually afford, and also somebody who's reliable, somebody who's going to actually do the art that they're paid for. And you would think that that's not a big deal. It actually is a huge deal. It's a huge deal. So having just having the ability to have somebody who knows artists that are tested, that they've done the job and have proven themselves to be reliable, that just makes all the difference in the world. So it's like I was saying to my son, my co-writer Roberto, that man, I wish that I would have had access at the beginning to the artists that we have now, because the art level that I deal with every day, you know, and the global scale of dealing with those artists is just so light years ahead of where we were when we first started back. And this would have been, we started with the artwork in September of 2011. So it has been a full decade of working, you know, in this title. So we've come a long way from that, you know, in that regard, because we literally did the first issue and then the artist had to quit.
Oh no!
It was legitimate reasons. It was the health of his children and forced him out of the business. But you know, you've got a 5-issue series and you got one issue in the art of one style artist, and you're not going to replicate that. You're just not. We ended up having to start all over again. So you've just paid in full issue that you now, you know, set aside. So ironically, here's a little bit of useless trivia for you to immediately hit delete once you hear it. But all those issues that we've done, and now just so you know, we've published, there were 5 in the first story arc, the Apokatastasis, and then in the second story arc, the Path of Souls, there were 6 issues. So there would have been 11 issues published so far. And then, we've written more. We've got the Valentine coming out this year, and there's going to be 3 issues there and then a backstory as well. But of all the issues that have been written and published, the only one that was actually done traditionally was the one that we didn't use.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. So I literally have in my closet, sheer feet away, all the original pages of the first unpublished issue of The Shepherd. Someday,
I need to own that
series or whatever it is. Those will be worth something. Until then, it's trivia that you can now delete from your memory bank.
Is it very different?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was very heavy blacks. I think you and I have talked about this before. Roberto and I are huge Mike Mignola fans. We love Mike Mignola and huge Hellboy fans. So we love those heavy blacks, and you see that reflected in the Path of Souls with our primary artist, Kyle Houston. You see one of the things that drew us to him was his, he had been influenced by, Mike Mignola's style. And we saw that, and it was a natural fit for us. Also, I think that The Shepherd is kind of a dark story. It's a kind of a brooding story. Deals with a lot. Regret is arguably a huge theme throughout all of our stories. So that art, I'll have to dig it out sometime, take some pictures for you and show it to you. But it was very heavily dark. It would have really changed the overall impact of that first volume, I think, in terms of just how it would have set a mood. It was much moodier than what we ended up with.
I mean, I can't even imagine. So I have a huge emotional attachment to that first series.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're attached to it as well, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I can't imagine. It would be interesting to read that first little arc when you realize what's actually happened. Just like seeing if in different art style, it gives a different kind of feeling to it.
I think it does. And I bet you have an example of this right in your shop. All those little statues of Batman done in the different styles of the different artists. I mean, doesn't that change the impact of the character? I really think it does. Somebody like Tim Sale, or, like the Batman from Red Rain, I love that graphic novel, Red Rain. I actually thought Batman as a vampire, which I just spoiled it, by the way. Thank you. I haven't read it.
I think they could figure it out.
I thought that made perfect sense. I thought it made the perfect sense, because especially if, Batman's obsession to protect Gotham City, what better way than be immortal? You never have to leave the city. You always, and explains him being out at night all the time. That's the only time you see Batman at night.
Explains
how he's effective against
bats.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I do think that the artist changes the flavor of the story. I mean, they're not interchangeable. They do change everything, and even the way that they interpret a script is, as you know, is very different. I mean, because I really try to give my artists a lot of freedom, because I just feel like I see creators do this all the time, where they want to control every little detail of the artist. I think that's a huge mistake, because the artist is seeing their script in a way that maybe you don't. And maybe I've seen this where the artist actually brings something new to the script that I hadn't planned on, and it's better than what I had. You just got to have enough humility to say, you know what? Thank you. I'll take it. So yeah. Now, where were we? I don't even know where the hell, how we got there, but there it is. We said a lot of things.
It was kind of like the beginnings of the series, where it was a much different place. Now you have a real, important position in the company that is publishing your books. So you have a little more control, and you get to see all the options that there are for artists and covers and all those kinds of things. Does it help you approach your writing any differently?
I'm not sure that it impacts necessarily the writing, but it impacts how I view the art, how I look at the covers. I'm constantly learning from these guys. I mean, Charlie and David, David Byrne, Charlie Stickney, known for Steak and for White Ash. They're very wise, especially, many things, but covers. They're very wise when it comes to covers and things like that. And they know how to market their titles. And I just feel like I could learn a lot. And then, being around the guys at Black Caravan, Joseph Smolke and Rich Woodall, both those guys are veterans, hard veterans in the comic book industry. They've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And I love talking with them. Joseph and I actually have these conversations that I really, I don't want to get him a big head or anything, but I really treasure them because it's like we talk to each other very straight, like we're both very passionate about things, very, we view things, I think, in a lot of ways very similar, but it's so weird because our titles are like so different from each other, but I really respect the work that he does. I feel like I learn a ton from being around him, how he thinks about the industry. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm constantly learning things from the creators around me, constantly. The writing, I say less on the writing, so because as weird as this sounds, I don't have as many writing conversations with them as I would like to. Mm-hmm. My writing conversations tend to be with my creators who I'm working as an editor, and then it's really about their work. So, I'm learning, of course, but it's a different kind of learning. But yeah, I feel like I've gained a lot. I love working with scouts. Somebody asked me today, a friend said, well, what if Marvel came knocking and said they wanted you to be an editor for them? And I'll tell you this right now, I'd rather be an editor for Scout Comics. Mm-hmm. I mean that with all my heart because I believe in what we're doing. I love the fact that we do all these different kinds of stories. And I want to be a part of that. I see these books coming across my desk. We've got books that are in the pipeline, in the near pipeline, are going to blow you away. I just, use an example. One of the ones that I really like is called Death Comes to the Toy Maker. And it's basically like a cross between Santa Claus mythology mixed with Gilgamesh, the old Sumerian / Babylonian story, which, by the way, the Gilgamesh epic is the oldest epic in Western civilization. Okay. And so they're taking this story and they're kind of meshing it with the Santa Claus mythology and representing it in a way that's faithful to the...
Roy's giving you love.
Checks in the mail, Roy. Checks in the mail. Thank you, Roy. But that's a title that you just wouldn't see that at Marvel or DC. It's just really an amazing tribute to that mythology, to the Babylonian Sumerian mythology, and how to take that story and make it relevant for the here and now. It's really cool. We talked before about Captain Suave. I always talk, it's one of my fallbacks because I cannot wait for people to get a chance to read that book. It just really speaks to the human condition, but it does so in an amusing way. Like I told you before, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll make you angry. It just touches on every human emotion. And I just think when a piece of literature can do that, you never forget it. And that's the magic of something special, a story that's special, and those are just a couple examples. And I get to work with that every day. It's a pleasure. It really is. And the creators from around the world. I was on an live Instagram with Marco today. Marco does King Jira, and also he's got Pentagram of Horror coming out. And he's in Italy. He's actually working on a piece of art for me live on Instagram. And another perk, by the way, of being an editor.
Yeah.
You have access to all these wonderful artists that are just one more talented than the other. It's just silly. You just look at that talent and say, wow.
Yeah, that's so many.
When I grow up, I want to be like that.
To be discovered, and they're not all down the street. They're all over the place. So when you're doing your book, other than your co-writer, has there ever been somebody that's given really great advice or suggested a change that you look back on and you're like, man, this changed everything?
Yeah, actually, one of my friends from Caliber, back in my days in Caliber Comics, is Charles Chester. Charles Chester wrote a book called Boy Zero. It's published by Caliber Comics, and he has a book coming out with Scout that I'm proud to say I get to edit, called Sissy. And Sissy is, if you loved the Chronicles of Narnia, you're going to love Sissy.
So much. You have no idea.
So you're going to absolutely adore Sissy. I mean, the characters, they're so rich. It's like the Wizard of Oz kind of richness of characters and the Chronicles of Narnia, and with that idea of a quest and all that going on. It's just, and the artwork is really amazing. Anyway, Charles has kind of been like I edit him, but he also edits me. And I've got a book. The next volume of The Shepherd is called The Tether. And this is primarily written by Berto, my son, who's the primary author on this one. And I've edited and kind of worked as a secondary author. And, Charles gave us some really good suggestions that I think changed the trajectory of that story for us in a positive way. And also in the stuff that you're reading this year with the Valentine, because you're going to see 4 issues of content from The Shepherd in 2022. There's a 3-issue story called The Valentine, and that's out this month, the first issue. And then there's a 1-issue backstory called The Pit. And The Pit is a story about a ghost dog that dies in the dogfighting pit. That's what they call it, The Pit.
Okay.
And he comes to the children of the Shepherd, because if you read that first volume of The Shepherd, you remember that the children actually have like paranormal abilities that they can see that on the other side. And the Valentine and The Pit are focused on the kids. So these stories are expanding the universe of the Shepherd. And it really is the focus on the 2 children that he left behind, Lexi and Nico. And so as a result, I would say that a big influence on those stories has been my daughter, Lexi, because she, like, we had the 3 issues of the Valentine, and Rich Woodall from Black Caravan came to me and said, Joe and I have talked, we'd really like to have some more pages, because we'd like a meatier trade when we go to trade. And I said, well, how do you feel about me doing like a one issue? Like, so it'd be a total of 4 issues for the trade. And he's like, go for it. And so I talked to my daughter. I said, well, what should we do? And she said, well, I don't know, but it's going to have to involve a lot of dogs. And I'm like, what? That was her mandate. It had to involve as many dogs as we could pack into the story. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. What am I supposed to do with this? I mean, is this going to be about like some veterinarian that died and feels guilty about leaving the dogs behind? What am I going to be, And so anyway, I'm out on my run, and the idea came to me about dog fighting. And I ran up to her, and she's like, well, as long as there's lots of dogs, let's get to work. And so she actually helped. She'll get a co-writing credit. So the Pit, that one shot, is actually going to have Roberto, my daughter Lexi, and myself actually all writing on that story. So
I love family books.
So credits, we need to say Molinari to the 3rd power.
No, because now it's just Molinari.
So yeah, I mean, you do definitely get influenced, in different ways by people, no doubt.
Oh yeah. So this year you mentioned there's the 3 issues of Valentine.
Right.
A Pit, and that's all of them for this year.
Yeah, there'll be 4. There'll be 4 issues total, and then the plan for the Tether is the next year, 2023. And then 2024, we're putting the finishing touches on a book called The Burning Maid. And that would be volume 5.
And you're working far out.
I actually is good. I think it's a good way to go. That's, and Joe Schmalke, by the way, is trying to get me. He wants me to create something new. So I got to figure out what that's going to be. I've got a couple ideas. So.
For Black Caravan, or?
Yeah, for Black Caravan.
Oh, you're already.
I'm thinking about doing something that's
the dark.
Like I tend to be the more hopeful member of Black Caravan, and I was thinking maybe do something that would blend in a little better, something a little darker. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, as long it's okay. As you don't have to kill everything. It's okay. So I see that we've got some people on that are creators themselves or hope to be creative for a publisher. Does Scout take submissions or ideas? And if so, how would they send them?
Yes. So listen up, O ye who wish to be published by Scout. This is insider baseball, so pay attention. First of all, when you come at Scout, you need to understand that there's multiple imprints at play. Okay, so you see me wearing this shirt, Black Caravan. Yep. Black Caravan, you can apply directly to Black Caravan. They do primarily horror and sci-fi, although they will do things that they just regard are weird and they just like. You know, like we have a issue coming out. Pay attention to this one. The Ballad of Gordon Barleycorn. Yeah, you have to get this book.
Weird.
It is very weird. It's very weird, but it's actually very heartwarming and cool. And I know where it's going, and it's very cool. It's in a lot of ways, it's really about the creator's journey of trying to find a way to express themselves, to take the gift that they have, hone it, and give it to the world. Oh, yeah. And what that means and the struggle that involves, you know. And I just really think it's a cool book. I like it a lot, and it's just totally different than anything else we have. So yeah. So there's Black Caravan, and the decision makers there are Joseph Schmalke and Rich Woodall, the guys who do the Electric Black. Mm-hmm. And so you can send that if you want to do the Black Caravan route, you can send your thing into Scout and say, hey, I'd like to send this to Black Caravan. Now I will tell you they're very selective. And they love good art. They love, you know, something coming out of left field. So pay attention for that. But that's one way you can go. The other way, if you do all ages, is you could do Scoot, and that's Richard Rivera, who writes Stabity Bunny, and he's your primary decision maker for the all ages titles. And then of course Scout Proper. So if you want to submit to Scout Proper, you would go to the website scoutcomics.com. There's a page that says submissions, and all the explanation is right there. It's that simple.
Yeah, like so give advice for people that are trying to do this. Is it better to do the formal, find the right way through the publisher site and turn in your things formally that way? Or is there any credence to, like hunting people down in the wild at conventions and showing your work to them? Or is it just too crazy busy in those environments to even consider?
It for the bigger publishers, I would say it probably is. Like I wouldn't try that with Dark Horse or Image, but if you catch me at a convention and you show me something that wows me, I will take it back. I will, or at least I'll give you my contact to send it, and then I'm not on the submissions committee. I want to be very clear about that. I have enough work to do. I get engaged when James Haick sends out an email welcoming somebody who's just signed a contract. That happened today. We had 3 titles that got dropped in my lap. And then I take those titles, distribute them to my editors, sometimes take them myself, depending on who's available. But you could bring something to me at a convention and I would take a look at it. I'm always on the look for a good book, always, but like I said, I'm not the decision maker. I'll just put it in the hands of somebody who makes the decision. So no promises, but we'll do that.
So you mentioned editing, and that's something that's a little bit of a mystery to a lot of people. Like, what does an editor do? Some people think it's just like check for spelling errors, and that's not what editors do. Help clarify what they get to do.
Yeah, I try to do at least 3 passes on a given issue. So ideally, I would like to have the script first. So like the written script before you paid for the art, because changing words in a Word document, obviously a lot more cost effective than creating new art pages. So I'd like to have a script ideally, but we work with people at all different stages. But ideally, if I have the script, then we could look at how you do characterization. What is your plot, the course of the story? How does that unfold? Does it make sense? I'm looking for holes in the plot, something that doesn't, you said something here, but then it's changed here. There's inconsistency in how the character is presented. Like, maybe they're supposed to be kind of a hillbilly type, and they speak in a certain way at the beginning of the story, and then that goes away over the course of the novel. We want to be consistent with that. So it's lots of different things: characterization, plot, the dialogue, trying to keep that clean and crisp. And especially with comics, you don't have a lot of room to work with, so you have to be brief. You have to, you have to think that through. Also, how you divide your pages, how many panels. I love this when you see like 9 panels on a page in a script, and then they have all this dialogue. And I'm like, look, you're not Kevin Smith. Stop right now. One of my goals as an editor is I want to be an editor for Kevin Smith. And I want to look him dead in the eyes and say, no, not going to put 1,000 words in that panel. Not going to happen. And I like Kevin Smith's work a lot. I do. But it's like, what I'm talking about. That's why you're laughing. There's always a ton of words on his page. So that's a kind of, those are like copy editing issues. And then you're also paying attention to, the spelling and punctuation and word choice. You try to avoid word repetition, that type of thing. And then finally, once that page gets lettered, now you're looking for consistency of lettering technique, balloon placement, all the other things. Spelling still happens. And letterers, by the way, introduce errors that weren't there before. They'll never admit to it, but it happens. We're human beings, and we're trying to get a lot of work done off our plate, so that's why you take the multiple passes. It's like
possible to still miss things even after all that happens, because I've found errors in books that have been printed.
Yeah. And it still gets through. Your goal is to try to reduce that number as much as you can,
Mm-hmm.
But an editor makes a big difference. Like I'm a huge Ed Brubaker fan. And I picked up a, Image publishes Reckless,
Yes.
Picked up the trade on that, the hardcover trade, and there's no editor listed. And let's just say you can tell.
No.
That's Marco right there.
From Marco.
Yeah, Marco, the author. Hold on here. I will get it. Actually, do a quick commercial here. Marco has, and because I'm an editor, you get perks here. He's the author of King Ghidorah. Okay. King Ghidorah is kind of like Godzilla, but he's very hungry. And so he's doing a lot of damage to a city as a result of that. And we'll just give you a glimpse. I don't want to give you too much, but
you're going to get me in trouble.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh my Lord.
I think we can all relate to a situation where we're so hungry for pizza that we're willing to destroy the city. I think we can all relate to that. Okay. But the colors are just amazing. Marco is an incredibly talented artist and writer. This, by the way, this is one of the variant covers for King Ghidorah.
His face is so cute. I'm so used to long face.
It is a really fun book. It really is a book you should have in your collection. And I will tell you that when it came in, I was on the submissions committee when this came. And I probably shouldn't say this, but to my knowledge, it's like the only time that I saw everybody was like, hell yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think there was no dissenter on that one. I shouldn't even say that, but there was no dissenter on that book. When I saw it, I was like, well, duh, of course we need to publish this. Yep. It's a giant lizard destroying the city in search of pizza. Come on. If we have to discuss this, and yeah, so I will be selling that book until I die. So yeah.
Me too. All right, we are out of time. Tell everybody how they can follow you. What social media is the one you're the most active on?
Yeah, I'd say Instagram is my favorite. You can find me also on Facebook. The Shepherd Comic at the Shepherd Comic. You can also see us, Black Caravan. We're on their social media, and of course, Scout Comics. But yeah, we appreciate, the follows and the encouragement. Readers, stick with us. But we'll show you real quick. You showed the cover for the Valentine. That's the issue 1 for the Valentine, and then this is the B cover. The artwork is done by Jaime Martinez, Rodriguez Martinez, and he's very talented, and I'm really excited to see how people will respond to that story. I will say, if you like the Sixth Sense, you'll probably like the Valentine.
Oh, now you got me hooked. That was all you needed to say.
Well, I love that story too. So
yeah, anything that does like a, you think you're headed one way and then hard left.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. It's always a joy.
All your projects for this year and next, and then the one after that, it looks like. All right, everybody, stay tuned. Also, remember to add those to your pull boxes so you don't miss them, or you need to get Shepherd Valentine. Got to have it. All right, everybody, stick around. We've got a quick break, and we'll be right back with Dirk Manning.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Welcome back to Talking Shop. Man, we've got some really great people to interview today. I'm so thankful for everyone that stopped by, Roy and Marco and everyone else that's supporting Andrea and his amazing writing and creating and editing. It means a lot when you see the rest of the comic book community that's attached to a creator show up and give the love. So thank you guys so much for doing that. It means a lot to them, a lot to us, and a lot to the comic community that sees that happening. Up next, I would like you to welcome Dirk Manning, my good friend.
Hey, how's it going, Jen?
Doing good. Is it cold there? Not cold there.
We have had blizzard-like conditions in the Midwest, which I think is, obviously impacting pretty much everyone everywhere at some point. I heard you guys were even getting cold over in Texas. Is that true?
Yeah, we've had some pretty bad cold snaps, but okay, so we don't have a lot of infrastructure for dealing with extreme cold.
Right.
So two nights of below freezing temperatures to us is kind of like, we're not real sure what we're doing. And
right.
Like,
I'm sorry.
It's like as a Midwest, California, they don't know what they're doing either.
Right. I just laughed in Midwestern. I apologize. Thank you for having me on. It's good to be on. It's good to see you.
That's good okay. To see all you come here in the middle of the summer and you're melting, I'll laugh at you.
That's fair. Oh, I remember when I was down there doing that signing and loading in those hot black metal cabinets in the sun.
Okay, so what Dirk is talking about, like there's, when someone's your friend and not just like a guest, when you show up for a signing and there's a truck to unload of fixtures you bought, and they just like hop up and start doing it.
Let's go. That's right. I'm a full service operation, Jen, is what it comes down to, right? So no, it was fun.
As long as ice cream is then involved later, then everything is good, right?
That's a bonus. Then it's like, right. Then I'll lift the hot black metal cabinets without the towel.
They were so hot because they'd already been out there for a little while and absorbed a lot of heat for us. JD's saying he doesn't know why, but he always feels like there's a monster about to appear behind you in your room that you're in now.
That's not necessarily inaccurate. Luckily, I have my mystery Funko Pop.
That's nice. Who made that for you?
My buddy Jason Plowman. He works with Cherry Capital Comic Con up in the Traverse City, Michigan, one of my favorite shows, and he's very gifted. And he made a little custom Tales of Mystery Pop. So one of one for now. My buddies Twisted, they got Funko Pops made coming out next year. So or this year. So who knows? Maybe we'll see a mystery one down the road, especially now that the titles with Source Point Press and moving up in the world and the omnibus and volume 5. So we'll see. But he'll always be the first to protect us from the monsters.
How many billions of units do you have to order to get a custom Funko? Do you even know? Is this a crazy question that you know?
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't even think it's a matter with them at this point of just having to order so many, but I think it also has to be a matter of being able to justify to them it's worth it. I mean, I've got around here somewhere. Where is he? Oh, right here. No. Like I was like Jason made me Dirk Manning.
Oh, it's a little Dirk.
Little Dirk, right? And I don't know if I could go to Funko and say, hey, if I buy 1 million, will you make one? I think they're to the point now where they vet it a little more than that. So I'll have to earn my Funko like Twisted did.
Maybe it's like comic books right now. It's like, sure, we can make it for you, but we need to make 10 million of something for Marvel instead.
Right. I mean, and there's no shame in that game. There's part of me as a fan and a professional that's like, do we need more Deadpool Funko Pops? But at the same time, it's like if people are buying them, then more power to them, right? I'm not gonna hate on it. There's people that collect everything. There's people that are probably like don't understand why I bought. I'm looking at a couple of weird ones I have, like the gelatinous cube, or I just bought the Ouija board tile, just weird. So there's, I appreciate that Funko allows everyone to explore their fandom at a fairly low price point. Yep. It's like I had a few minutes to kill, and I was in the bookstore, and I was in Books A Million, and they had the Ouija board Funko, and I'm like, do I need the Ouija board Funko? No. Am I supporting my local economy and getting something that makes me laugh every time I see it for like $12? Yeah. Okay, I'll treat myself to a $12 Ouija board Funko. It's over there. It's right off camera. Every time I look at it, I laugh, and I'm like, I remember like being little and like my friends' parents and stuff would be like, "Oh, you can't have a Ouija board," and I'm like, like Milton Bradley makes it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, now that I can buy a mass-produced toy of a Ouija board slider, it just makes me laugh. So it was $12, and I've already gotten my laughs out of it. So
I feel like I want to go back and do research and find out if that's original to that company, or if it's based on some older spooky thing. Right.
Yeah, it's worth digging into that stuff. People clearly don't always do enough research on things they probably should these days. So I'm all for it. I'm all for your journey of exploration.
Excellent. Galili's got a good idea. A 2-pack Mystery and Dirk Manning Pops.
There you go. I don't know if I personally am worthy of being side by side with Mystery, but Daniel, if those were the conditions, there had to be a Dirk Manning and a Mystery, I would take that one right on the chin, and I would, so be it.
was going to be a betting person, I would say that Hope would be the first.
I don't think I would bet against you on that. There is a Hope. There are 1 or 2 Hope custom Funkos out there. I don't have them yet. I want one, and we'll get there. But again, Hope Volume 2 is coming out, later this year. So maybe that'll be my opportunity.
So
A lot going on, Jen. A lot going on.
I can't even imagine, because you've been making all kinds of announcements. But the thing that's like the most immediate thing is like everyone right now is getting their Kickstarter backed.
Yeah.
Shivani butts and seats. Like, is this like, could it get any fancier? I don't think so.
Right? Look at that. Like the metallic. Yeah. I backed the Kickstarter as well because like SourcePoint, right? So I got to like back it and get one myself. Yeah. It's like, the metal embossed there. The championship.
This is when you know you've made it. When you have like I'm going to hold my space.
Yep, the ribbon bookmark, and the hardcover has this gorgeous Sean Daly pinup. Yep. The trade paperback doesn't have this. This is only in the hardcover. This is a little fun trivia fact for those of you out there. Everyone if you get one of the hardcovers, and Jen King is one of the very few retailers, one of the only ones that actually has hardcovers because these were Kickstarter exclusive. Every wrestler in the pinup are the wrestlers that cut promos for the book during the Kickstarter campaign.
That was so cool of them to do. I mean, that was showing Tony huge amounts of love, right? To take the time out to do that. Yeah,
no, Tony is very well beloved, rightfully so, and it was cool. It was pretty awesome. And don't get me wrong. I mean, the standard trade paperback version of the book is also equally amazing and really cool. But if you got that hardcover, and Jen, you're one of the only people, one of the only stores that has hardcovers. So if people want to get it, they should get with you because when they're gone. They were print to order. We're not making more hardcovers. That's it. You get what you get. The team gets them, and the couple of the stores that bought in and the Kickstarter backers get them.
Yeah, I'm saying all the stuff that were like the add-ons were just so so killer.
And are you offering all the add-ons if people buy the hardcover?
All except for one. I'm missing one pin because my my coworker Shanice is just south of like maniacally fanatical about wrestling, so she earned her right to have one. So
that's fair. And if you need an extra pin, we can probably figure something out for you. But yeah. So it's cool, and I'm really excited. People have been, with all the printing delays and things like that, we really had to wait longer than anticipated to deliver the book. And I don't even think Tony has his hardcovers yet. I mean, because they literally came in, and the first priority of us was not even that the team gets them, that we get them out to the backers. You know what I mean? Yep. So, I mean, just boom, SourcePoint got them in on a Monday, whatever it was, and was shipping them by Monday afternoon. And because we're really grateful and appreciative, and with the supply chain issues, the book got delayed, and getting here and things like that. And luckily, I'm very, very grateful that people are finding the packaging on that Kickstarter exclusive really worth the wait. And I see that you have them back there. And again, we're friends, obviously, and things like that. But if you want that hardcover, get it from Jen while you can, friends, because they're already up on eBay going for crazy prices, and they're not going to be around very long. And once they're gone, they're gone. And if anybody knows anything about wrestling collectibles, they don't go down in value.
Never.
Just saying.
Never. Yeah, I had a customer come in with a full set of 82, 83, and 84 wrestling cards.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that it would be like, okay, well, these will be, $20 a set or something. And I'm so glad I looked them up before I just like listed them for a solid price, because it was like $3,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And sometimes that's just for like one or two cards pushes up the set, and like I said, I mean, not to, big props go to Josh Werner for doing the design on this book and stuff like that too. But I mean, like I said, you get a gold belt on it, and the red, white, and blue, metallic chrome, and I mean the variant covered by Scott James and the Sean Daly pinup. I mean, just The ribbon bookmark. I mean, it just.
Whose brilliant idea were these awesome cards? Because these are killer.
Yeah, you do trading cards with it. It's funny.
The dog.
Yeah, Bug. Oh yeah. What he did was, and other people on our internal team can tell you this, that Kickstarter did so well. Yeah, there's Tony. Did so well so fast. We had to come up with new stretch goals. Well, we didn't have to. We chose to. We decided we're going to keep going on this. And we were unlocking stretch goals before they were even announced. So we were all like bickering, like, do we do cards? Do we do this? And Tony's been getting into collecting baseball cards. So he thought it'd be really fun to do baseball cards to him, Lois, and Bug. You know, and the cards have like stats on the back about them and stuff like that, you know. And so like even Bug, you know, he has like stats. And so we actually announced retroactively, by the way, you're automatically getting this and this and then this, because like, do we do pins? Do we do cards? Do we do this? How much can we foil emboss the cover, you know, and all this stuff. So I'm trying to remember. I want to say it was Tony that came up with the cards, or Mike Dawkins, or Drina, or Source. I don't remember. I mean, we were all volleying ideas around left and right because it was just wild, man. It was an incredible campaign. You know,
like,
and we're ready.
If it got any more crazy, you were going to have to do like, you know, towel with sweat wiped off brow of
Tony, dog hair from Bug. You know, we and I thank everyone so much who supported this campaign. You know, I've told this story before, so I won't get into the gory details, but we all had a number we wanted to hit, and we blew past it in like we blew past all of our number like by day 3. You know, so and thanks to you and all the backers and stuff like that. So and you know how I am, you know, I'm really about paying it forward and really rewarding the people that pre-order and invest. So just getting to the point where we could give everybody all this cool stuff really made it worth it.
Kyle's giving you a hard time. He's mad you didn't get to the Dirk takes a chair shot stretch goal.
Yeah, I'm okay. That was it. Well, believe me, it was discussed. You know, it's like, but then who gets to do the chair shot and under what circumstance? There may or may not be video out there about Tony Schiavone rolling me. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say that footage may be on someone's phone about Tony taking me out of the convention and just beating me. So
I think that's brilliant, and we're going to have to hunt that person down so we can see it.
I've already said too much.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it was cool, you know, and we're actively working on the Art Anderson book right now. I'll have details on that soon. We haven't announced the artists or anything like that on that book. And, you know, we're wrapping up the Tales of Mystery campaign. If I can throw in a cheap plug, and I'll drop a link that could potentially
all for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so we wrapped up the Tales of Mystery campaign, and really excited about this. I put in the back channel here. So now we're getting ready to finalize orders on Tales of Mystery, which is going to be Tales of Mystery Volume 5, as well as the Tales of Mystery Omnibus. But along with that, and to celebrate Tales of Mystery coming to SourcePoint Press, SourcePoint Press agreed to do a big horror sale on a lot of their other horror trade paperbacks that people maybe missed the first time. So things like Holliston, or a lot of people are aware that Rotten Tail was a movie, but not a graphic novel.
Right.
You know, some books like The Love She Offered. I'm offering a very limited amount of the Volume 1 black and white edition, grayscale edition of Tales of Mystery that will be gone forever. You know, someone I know will have the remaining copies very soon. Someone I'm looking at right now. Yeah.
I'm freaked out right now.
So we're offering through SourcePoint a promotion. People can go to talesofmystery.com and use the backer kit. So whether you backed the Tales of Mystery campaign or not, now if you want to jump on there, you can go ahead and like I was the Horrorpalooza, right? You can go on there and still get pre-order Tales Mystery Volume 5, the Tales Mystery Act 1 Omnibus. But on top of that, if you order any of the other non-mystery horror titles from SourcePoint Press through the backer kit, those will be shipped out fairly instantly. You know, once we close out the backer kit, you know, when maybe like a couple weeks, once we close the promotion, those books will be shipped immediately. You know, so you'll get like 2 for the price of one. What up, Ashton?
And Ashton's here.
Yeah, what's going on?
How you doing, man?
But I wanted to make sure everyone's aware of that too. It's my first official special project, I guess you would say, as special projects manager, was to do this big horror promotion. So
has your new version of Right or Wrong emerged yet, or is that
not yet?
Okay.
That will be announced soon. Yeah, you know, it's one of the things that is actively in queue right now, but with the paper shortages and everything else going on, you know, and schedules getting pushed around and things like that, we had to kind of allocate how much we're putting out, how fast. But that is coming. That is coming. So it'll be the remastered Tales Right or Wrong Volume 1, second edition. Then after that, a certain amount of time after that, I'll be releasing Right or Wrong Volume 2.
Okay.
So, and that's along with Hope Volume 2, Homestead. May, I think we're looking at doing the Kickstarter for the Adventures of Cthulhu Jr. and Dastardly Dirk with Scoop McMahon, Sean Burris, and Leah Letterman. Just Art Anderson's lurking in the wing. Just so much stuff coming out, you know. And I'm really happy to be working with SourcePoint and
I really want Cthulhu Jr. to be on Saturday morning cartoons sometime. That's fine.
I'm with you, you know, and again, you know, when we talk about the different franchise and expansion possibilities, I do see that being a thing where that could become a thing. You know, I mean, people have only seen the first issue. You know, I think it was on another show on the XP that when Scoot was on during the XP anniversary, he showed some of the other pages from inside the book that no one's seen before. And yeah, you've only seen the first issue. You know, it's a 5-issue grab. Right. You know, and it's wild. You know, and that's a book that's so much fun. We've had to sit on it for a while because of, you know, I joke that we didn't want to release a kid's book about the end of the world during the end of the world. You know, it's like, you know, I get accused of causing enough trauma and nightmares in some people. I didn't need to like put that on top of it too. But I think the plan right now that we're pretty locked into is May we'll launch the Kickstarter for that. And the same thing, we'll offer a Kickstarter exclusive hardcover and some bonuses that you can only get through the Kickstarter campaign, and then the book will come out in the direct market right after that. So.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Ashton. Appreciate you, man. Yeah,
So
Haunted High End Volume 2 as well. Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Do you feel like anything's going to get delayed because of just like supply chain issues for the year?
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about that today, and there's the very real possibility that if I want to stick to my May timeline for Cthulhu Jr., I'll be running that Kickstarter before the rebooks are in people's hands. And I'm not crazy about doing that, but at the same time, eventually the supply chain issue is going to correct itself.
Yeah.
And I don't want to keep pushing back releases waiting for that to even itself out. You know, I think my track record, I think SourcePoint Press's track record is good enough that they know if we say, you know, the rebooks are coming. The volume 1, the Omnibus Act 1 is like 500 plus pages, and it's a hardcover, and it's leather bound. You know, it's going to take a minute to print it. You know, not to infringe on a minute to skim it, but
I mean, I stole it from Minute to Win It, so it's okay.
There you go. So, I think my track record is good enough now and stuff like that people understand the concept of pre-ordering and the concept of, okay, Ree's on his way. Those books are on the boat or where they are. But in the meantime, we're getting this next one queued up for you because we have a lot of books coming out. And while I'm certainly not going to necessarily go the Kickstarter pre-order route with everything I do,
Right.
there are certain books that people have certain expectations, or the book fits that mold. You know, let's go back to Haunted Highons for a minute. You know, Twisted did their first crowdfunding campaign with the first Haunted Highons, and readers got a limited edition hardcover and signed book plates and all this really cool stuff, an exclusive download for a song. That stuff's really cool. So if we want to eventually, and I'm not saying we are or we're not, I'm not talking out of school, but if we were to do a crowdfunding campaign to let people pre-order a deluxe edition of the next volume of Haunted Highons, we don't want to push that back forever because we had to do Cthulhu Junior first and wait for Rita to arrive and wait for Junior. You know, so there's a lot of balls in the air that we're juggling in that regard. And again, my goal is hopefully by 2023. And I know, you know, they say, was it man plans and the universe laughs, you know, but my hope is by 2023 that we will be back on track in regards to people run a Kickstarter, the Kickstarter ends, we do the backer kit ends, boom, and we're getting the books printed and out the door.
Yeah,
You know.
Ashton brings up a good point that as long as you're offering also a digital offering, then they'll get to read it beforehand anyway. That'll assuage, it'll fill the gap between finishing and getting physical things in hand.
Absolutely. So that's all stuff that we consider. And you know, and the other way I look at it too is that, you know, admittedly, like with Butts and Seats, you could have gotten the trade paperback edition at a signing from me or Tony or something sooner. You could, just because of the way things worked out with the printing. But when you get that box, you know, like the Gimme Everything level, you got a shirt. Well, I think that's not true. I think I added on the shirt. But you get, like you showed, the pin, a triple signed book plate, a exclusive lithograph of that Sean Daly art, a bonus comic, another print. You get the trade paperback and the hardcover, you know, and stuff like this bonus comic are so cool. You know, like this is an exclusive behind the scenes bonus comic that you could only get this if you back the Kickstarter. So, you know, you get goofy pictures of all of us on the team that did the book, you know, and stuff like that, you know, and like behind the scenes art of like thumbnails for every chapter, you know. So there's cool stuff in here. So while people did have to wait a little bit longer, which was not ideal, I would like to think that ultimately the trade-off was worth it. I mean, heck, just to get like the triple signed book plate by me and Tony and Josh Werner, that's cool in of itself.
Absolutely.
And the pin and everything else. So, you know, it's one of those things that we have to consider, and I think people are getting. I'm going to put this back in my little box. I think people are getting more and more comfortable with the idea about how that's going to work out while we're dealing with these supply chain issues. And by the way, I'll put these in my box now, and then I'm going to totally take it all out and read it later. You know, so
What is it again?
right. Then put it on my hardcover shelf.
Oh, Brainy wants you to join us on Nerd News Now tonight, recording to discuss food and family, and Emily in Paris, which is a theme that we've got running, which is silly.
Right. You know, I'm always down talking to you guys. Let me know and we'll figure it out. I do have some work stuff I gotta get done tonight, Brainy, but we can make that happen soon. I mentioned before, and I'm going to totally mildly humble brag. Got a lot of work to do now that my business cards are in with my new promotion.
An official position. Look at that.
Get out. And these cards are like so thick too. You could like hit someone with it. This is two taped together because I have my contact information covered up. But yeah. So I'm not trying to big league you, Brainy, but I'm saying that I do have some stuff I get in tonight, but I want to come on. Yeah. Not big leaguing my friends, but now Travis and Josh get to like hold me accountable for stuff. You know, before I was just freelance writing. And now that I'm titled. I'm convinced one of the reasons Travis hired me so that he can yell at me.
Well, He likes to yell at people, so it's okay.
He does, and he would try to yell at me before, and I would remind him. I said, "I'm like Batman to the Justice League, right? I don't work for you. I work with you." And the joke always was, now if you hire me and make me an employee, then you get a yelling quotient, right? So that's all.
Like
but
a reverse benefit program. Is this what it was?
Yeah, it's weird. And the funny thing is, we both think that we took advantage of the other one on it. You know, we both think that we got the better deal. Travis is happy that he now gets to yell at me. That I'm happy that I'm now truly officially part of the company in an official capacity. So, you know, it's like a win-win. It may be dysfunctional, but we're all happy. So be it.
Brainy, you already have 5 jobs. You don't need another job, man.
That is true. I'm not taking you from the EXP, Brainy. We need you where you are. But the secret for me was that Travis wanted to be able to yell at me, and I attached a number to it that he met. No. Truth be told, what it comes down to that position is it formalizes a lot of the work I've done for the company for a while anyway. It is a freelance person, and it was kind of like, you know, working with people like Tony Schiavone and Twisted and things like that, and bringing these projects to SourcePoint. It's like the joke always was, imagine if I worked for you, what I would do. And we got it all worked out. And then I said, okay, you get the big scroll, you know, here's the stuff that I can offer you now that I'm being held accountable to a level of expectation in that regard, in regards to what I'm going to bring to you, you know. So I'm really excited. You know, I have a lot of love for SourcePoint. I have a lot of love for the staff there. I have a lot of love for them professionally, everything they're doing in the industry, as well as, you know, personally, I have a lot of love for everybody there. Most everybody there.
You'd like it right there. All right, Dirk, we're like crowding in on the next show's time, and I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we sit here and we catch up.
I love them so much. So.
Yes.
We'll see you again soon. Hopefully we get to see you in the store whenever things change, so we can have
it's on the books, Jen, I promise. And one more time, those of you watching this, you see those hardcovers behind Jen, those butts and seats, get them while you can, because once they are gone, they are gone.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Brainy and Ashton, everybody. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.